Good evening, friends. So in this session what I have here for you is the for each loop container, and we're going to see to use the SQL Server Management Objects option of the container. So before we start to look at what we have here, I would like to show in this database, the dev database, I have few tables currently, as you can see, and we'll be using or iterating over these tables. So what does your SQL Server Management Object task means, or the option means, is it will iterate over all the objects, or perform a specific task over all the objects, like tables, stored procedures, or any of those things. So for this video, or the SSIS package, let's start to look through what we have here. I have declared a variable, a var map table, which is over for the complete package, and the data type for this is a string. We have a single variable for this SSIS package. Now let's try to look at what we have for the for each loop container. If you open the container and in the collection tab, what you see here, we are using the option of for each SMO enumerator. So what does SMO enumerator means? It means we are going to enumerate over a particular set of objects. So what we have, the option, we have created a connection string to uh, Arcacia Sing server, and when we select the browse button, you will get all the databases, logins, jobs, linked servers, everything over this over the server name. Now we would like to iterate over the database, dev databases tables. So let's select the table, and then use the names option for this table, and put it to OK. And in the variable mapping tab, we will map. So this means that we are going to enumerate or iterate over each of the tables of the dev database, and we will be passing on each of the table names over to this variable that we had declared, variable var map table with the index 0. So this, each of the collected value being enumerated will be passed on to this table, and let's say OK. Next, what we have here is a SQL task, where we have mapped this connection to SQL dev database, and inside, before we go to it, we'll see parameter mapping. So in the parameter mapping option, we are mapping this option, or the var map table option as an input, and feeding it to the SQL task. We will now go back and see what we have in the SQL task. So if you look at, this is the query that we are going to execute. In this query, what we have here is we are collecting the input parameter with a question mark. I mean, the table name is being passed here, and then we have declared a backup table name, and we have actually collected this date time stamp, or the date stamp. So if in a nutshell, if we see what we have here, it DT stamp stands for, we will see this is actually today's date in year, month, date order, and we are using this value, and we are appending it. So basically we are appending this value, and then backing up this each of the tables. If you can see, we are backing up each of the table to in our dev database with a different name. So that's all that we are doing. So let's just proceed with this. So once this task executes, or this package executes, each of the tables that we have in our dev database should be backed up with today's date stamp quickly. So let's run this SSIS. So it has executed successfully. Now let's go back and see what we got here. If you can see each of the table, we have been able to create a backup for each of the table, and the task is enumerated and with the today's date timestamp. So each of the tables have been backed up. Right. So that's the SMO enumerator for you in a nutshell. You can perform any sort of activities over objects or on a particular server. It was a very simple demonstration for you to understand what does for each SMO enumerator stands for. I hope this video is helpful to you guys. Thank you.